And the title of the book is Death Ain't But a Word, a Supernatural Hot Mess. It is the chilling and, at the same time, heartwarming story of a crackhead who sees ghosts. Prologue. The hooker came up out of the ditch. She saw the boy sitting against the back wall of the motel. She walked over and sat down next to him. "I guess you saw it all," she said. "Yeah," the boy said. "I saw." "I didn't know you were there." "Right," he said, "because that was before. You couldn't see me before." She nodded. Made sense. "Was that your boyfriend?" the boy asked. Her laugh was bitter. "Boyfriend? No. Business manager." "Why you do it?" "Business issues." The boy nodded. Made sense. "How long do you think before they find me?" she asked. "They won't," he said. "You're invisible." "No," she said. "I mean," she pointed at the ditch. "Oh," he said, "tomorrow morning for sure. Lots of people walk through here in the daytime." She nodded. Made sense. "How long did it take them to find you?" she asked. "Well, they never did," the boy said, patting the ground next to where he sat. "Still right here." Chapter 1. The streetlight dappled oak leaf shadows on the pavement in front of him. He shifted his position, leaning back on the chain-link fence with his ass on the ground, legs bent, arms resting straight out on his knees, half-empty bottle of Sprite in one hand, index finger absently rubbing the thumb callus on the other. Shit, Broderick was taking a long time. Wilkin bent his arm and brought a Sprite bottle up to his lips. Quick swish and swallow. His knuckles were ashy, elbows too. He needed to find some damn lotion when he got the chance. He ran his tongue along the inside of his mouth. Pretty fucked up. Still had his teeth though, for now. Living like this, you always lose teeth. Just a matter of time. He looked at the house again. It was quiet, neighbors asleep and nobody home. At least that's what Broderick had said, and he was pretty sure Broderick would be right about that. Something about the old lady in the hospital. Wilkin leaned forward so he could see around the bushes that covered him on both sides. The street was empty in both directions. He wasn't worried about being seen. He was dark and his clothes were dark and the bushes completely covered him in shadow. Plus, he was settled so far back from the street you couldn't really see him from either side. Broderick, on the other hand, was behind the house in a bright red Atlanta Falcons shirt like a damn fool, probably standing right under the porch light. Wilkin shook his head. Broderick wasn't bad to hang with, but sometimes he had his ways. About 1,000,000 years later, a tall, skinny figure in a bright red shirt came around the side of the old lady's house and waved him over. Wilkins screwed the cap back on his Sprite bottle, put it behind a rock, got on his feet, and went over to the house. "Took you long enough," he said. "Burglar bars," Broderick said. Their entrance to the back wasn't the smoothest. The window was high off the ground and climbing in was clumsy. Broderick crashed on the floor after Wilkin, and they both stayed there for a minute, getting used to the dim light and letting it get quiet again. "So we're okay," said Wilkin. "Of course. You don't trust me?" Wilkin didn't answer that. No point in lying, no point in telling the truth. Trust didn't have shit to do with shit. Broderick grinned and went straight to the medicine chest in the bathroom. He found some Vicodin and Darvocet and put them in his pocket. The rest was just heart and blood pressure stuff, so he left it alone. Then he went to the living room, which was stupid, of course. Wilkin went to the bedroom. Only place worth looking. He'd find it here. But first things first. Mrs. Hampton was old. She was in the hospital. If she died there, he didn't want problems. The bedroom was small and cozy, just big enough for a bed, a dresser, a bookshelf, and a vanity. A walk-in closet on the left with its door wide open and dark inside. The window over the bed had frilly white curtains, and the blinds behind them were open, so yellow light from the bug lamp outside came in. He could see pretty well. Wilkin cut a quick glance at the mirror over the vanity and sighed in relief. It was okay. He moved around the room to get a feel for everything, grabbed a pillowcase off the bed, and then sat down at a little chair in front of the vanity. It was time to check the vibes. He dug through the drawers and found a few things with fives. A fancy silver brooch and a matching locket on a chain, they went in the pillowcase. A gold engagement ring, it went in the pillowcase. A silver hair comb. It didn't look expensive, but it was vibrating to beat the band. It also went in the pillowcase. Those were the only things in the vanity, so we checked the bedside tables and dresser. A few more things, but nothing valuable enough to worry about, so we let them alone. He put the pillowcase on the bed and folded it into a small, square package. He stopped for a moment to listen. Broderick was finally making himself useful in the kitchen, checking the freezer, the oven, and the other decent hiding places. Broderick was busy. Good. Wilkin jammed the pillowcase into the space between the headboard and the wall. It fit snug and did not fall to the floor. He checked the room again, and his eyes went to a framed picture on the nightstand. The frame looked like silver, but when he picked it up, it was too light. Plastic. Good. Nobody would bother it. He put it back. Okay. The vibing stuff wouldn't get stolen. Now Wilkin needed to find something to steal. He stood in front of the bed and checked the room again. His eyes went to a picture again, but this time he was looking at the picture and not the frame. Mr. and Mrs. Hampton in their Sunday best, Mr. Hampton's arm around his wife, both of them smiling at the camera with false teeth and true love. That's when he knew. You'll be together again soon, he said to the picture. She's coming home to be with you. The minute he said that, he felt it. Ice. Back of the neck, base of the skull. Shit. The mirror. It was right behind him. Dumbass. He knew better. Mr. Hampton's presence bore down on Wilkin's back and shoulders with cold, otherworldly hostility and suspicion. A tremor snaked its way up Wilkin's back and skittered back down his legs with needle pinpricks. Wilkin sighed. The old man was dead, but he was here. And he was pissed. Glaring at Wilkin from the mirror like they always did, probably with his eyes all rotted out and trying to look all scary and shit. Probably had worms crawling out of his mouth. Wilkin wasn't scared. The old man couldn't hurt him from a mirror. But Wilkin was robbing his house, so he understood why the old man would feel that way. Wilkin stood very still. Didn't turn to face the mirror. Didn't need to. He closed his eyes. Just tell me where the money is, and we'll leave the rest alone, he said softly. Wilkin felt an icy nudge in his gut. He followed it to the bedroom closet, pulled the door behind him, tugged the string to cut the light on, and sat down on the floor. Dragged a stack of shoe boxes from the back corner, opened the middle box in the stack, and removed a pair of orthopedics, and took out the envelope that was nestled under them. He counted the money in the envelope. 25 $100 bills. Oh, hell no. It was way too much. He peeled off 3 of the bills, put the rest back in the envelope, and returned the envelope and the boxes to their proper places. Tucked one of the bills in his sock, tucked the other 2 in his pocket, got up, killed the light, and stepped back into the bedroom. Not looking at the mirror, he held up 3 fingers to say how much he had taken, and the icy nudge disappeared from inside his stomach. He went to the dining room, where he found Broderick laying out bundled napkins on the dining room table. Real silverware, explained Broderick. We can get good money for this. The icy nudge came back. Leave it, said Wilkin, showing him the 2 Benjamins. We got all we need right here. Broderick shot a look at Wilkin. Wilkin shot a look back at Broderick. Broderick shrugged and laid the bundle down on the table. The icy nudge went away again. They left without the silverware. They scored some rock and got a room at the Sunrise Motor Lodge. Wilkin had to handle the check-in because Broderick didn't have his ID. Tremont was holding it. This pissed Wilkin off. How much you owe him? He asked Broderick. 50? 50 total or 50 plus interest? He fronted me 50 on Tuesday. Shit, said Wilkin. Then you owe him 100. Don't worry about it, said Broderick. Shit. Don't worry about it. They were settling into the motel room. Wilkin had taken the sheet off the inside bed. He always took the bed farthest away from the window and had draped it over the desk mirror. Broderick had smoked out with him enough to be used to it and to stop wondering why. Hey, said Broderick, did you see the statue? Huh? The statue on the check-in counter when you paid for the room. The little elephant? Asked Wilkin. Yeah, said Broderick, only it's not an elephant. It's a dude with an elephant's head. I saw him, said Wilkin. He's got like 4 arms. And one of his tusks is broken. I wonder why that is. Wilkin shrugged. Maybe the statue fell off the counter and broke. No, man, it was made that way, like the tusk is supposed to be broken. Broderick accepted the straight from Wilkin and held his flame just beyond and below the tip of the glass. In an easy, expert breath, he drew in the flame, and the glass pipe went gray with smoke. He exhaled and was enveloped in a perfect cloud. He nodded his approval and handed the straight back to Wilkin, who set it on the nightstand to let the glass cool before his first hit. Then Wilkin rested his head on the pillow for a moment while it cooled. And the bath water came up to Wilkin's neck, and it felt so good and warm. The gentle splash of the water against the sides of the massless porcelain tub echoed through the white polished bathroom, where the sunlight filtered through the white lace curtains and dazzled on the white ceramic tiles. He let his feet float up, and his toes broke the surface. His feet were so small. He studied his hands. They were small too, and soft. No calluses. He could stay there forever. His mother called to him from outside the bathroom door. He needed to finish up and get ready. It was almost time to go. Reluctantly, Wilkin pulled himself from the tub. Oh, how he just wanted to stay there and face the mirror without hesitation. His face looked back at him, water beating down his chest. No, not his face. Almost his face, but not quite. Whose face? He scrunched his nose, and the face scrunched its nose. He stuck out his tongue, and the face stuck out his tongue. Almost his face. His brother's face? No, Wilkin didn't have a brother. It was just him, his mom, his dad, and his 2 sisters. The eyes. The face really needed glasses, he thought to himself. There should be glasses on that face. The eyes were gentle and soft, like a baby elephant's eyes. Wilkin pulled himself from the mirror and pulled the terry cloth robe from the holder on the wall. There were 3 robes, one pink, one yellow, and one blue. His robe was blue. He tightened the sash around his waist and pulled open the bathroom door. Weird. The wall in front of him was different than he remembered. It wasn't the white painted paneling he was used to, but instead was covered in odd little bumps. And it went down further than a wall was supposed to, down further even than where the floor was supposed to be. And the floor was 6 feet below his feet, and there was a picture lying on the floor below him, perfectly aligned with the wall. A click and the whir of a fan motor caught his attention, and he turned his head to the right. He was lying on his back on the motel bed. The curtains were drawn and dark, but sunlight splayed around the edges. Broderick was lying on his side on the other bed, watching Wilkin. Dude, he said, you've been out of it all night. I don't think you even took a single hit off the pipe. It was almost checkout time, so Wilkin took a shower and dressed. When he came out of the bathroom, Broderick was not there, so he checked the motel room to make sure they weren't leaving anything behind. Then he stepped out into the sunlight. Broderick was at the front office, talking to the Indian guy through the speaking vent in the window. He saw Wilkin, left the window, and they walked together from the motel to the overpass. I found out about the dude with the elephant head, Broderick said. Wilkin nodded and stooped to pick up a coin on the sidewalk. He was thinking about the face in the mirror. That was Humphrey Timmons. Had to be. Dude's name is Ganesh. The guy at the motel? No, the statue. I don't know the motel guy's name. If it was Humphrey in the bathroom mirror, then it explained why Wilkin's hands and feet had looked so small. They'd both been 7 years old, except, and this was weird, the thing in the bathroom didn't happen until Wilkin was 11. Okay, said Wilkin, so why does he have an elephant head? Dude was a kid, and his head got chopped off. How that happened? It was a misunderstanding. But Humphrey didn't have anything to do with what happened in the bathroom. Couldn't have. Humphrey'd already been dead a long time when that other shit happened. Hell of a misunderstanding, said Wilkin. No doubt. And there was a big fuss between his mom and his dad behind it because it was his dad who chopped his head off. His dad? Well, not really his dad. His mom created him when his dad was away. More like his stepdad. Created him? They were gods. They could do that. Of course, Wilkin knew the moment that Humphrey was killed, even though everyone kept looking for him for weeks. They never found him, and Wilkin always knew he'd never come back. So what'd they do about it? Said Wilkin. Only thing they could do. That Dad had to fix it or his wife would stay pissed at him. Fix it? Put the head back on. But the mirror didn't make any sense because Humphrey'd never been in that bathroom anyway. In that bathroom mirror anyway. Humphrey'd never been in any mirrors. So why they use an elephant's head? Why not use his real head? They lost it. The elephant's head was the only thing they could find. Wilkins stopped and looked down at the freeway. They were halfway over the bridge. The whole thing was ridiculous. Humphrey in the bathroom mirror. It was stupid and not true. Wilkins remembered the bathroom mirror, remembered it perfectly. He remembered that his feet and hands had been bigger because he was 11, not 7, when the thing in the bathroom happened. And he remembered falling to the tile floor and screaming hysterically. And he remembered his mom coming in and checking his temperature, which was hot all of a sudden. And he remembered that his parents made him stay with Mrs. Johnson, and they went to the funeral without him. And he remembered his 2 younger sisters climbing into the back of the silver minivan. And he remembered his dad in the driver's seat. And he remembered his mom in the front passenger seat. And he remembered the van backing out of the driveway, and he remembered watching it go up the street towards the freeway, and he remembered never seeing his mom or his dad or his sisters alive again. So, no, Humphrey was never in that bathroom mirror. But he sure was at the Sunrise Motor Lodge.